Namaskar. Hello, good evening, good morning to all of you. These flowers are for Swati, but for you as well. Thank you for waiting, and we are really sorry for the delay. We were facing some technical issue, guys. Thank you for bearing with us, and let us welcome the author, Swati Desai.
Thank you so much, Sonali.
Welcome, Swati, and congratulations for the book.
Thank you so much. Yes, that book took me 2 years to write, and then the publisher accepted it. And it took them an year to actually publish. So it's been a labor of love for many, many months, I would say.
But hearty congratulations. It matters. I was going to say that you always want to get something in life.
Yeah.
You are teaching us mindfulness.
Yeah.
And on top of it, you're telling us get mindfulness right.
Exactly.
So you are expecting a lot from us.
No, in fact, Sonali, that's a good point. Because unless you get it right, what's the point of getting it?
Very true.
Right?
Very true.
And the reason I wanted to write this book is there are a lot of mindfulness books. However, some of them are secular. So they just talk about mindfulness as if it is some kind of a mechanical thing. And the others are Buddhist books. You know, mindfulness comes from Buddha's teachings.
Mm-hmm.
Many people don't know that. They think about it as a Western tool.
True.
Because in the West, they have done a lot of research, science and all that. And they know about it as that it's something from the West. But actually, it comes from Buddha's teachings. So either they're Buddhist books or secular books. And so they focus on only one part of it, and I felt like Buddhist teaching is secular. It is not about religion, so why not explain the whole thing? The Eastern roots, Western science, give them theory, give them stories of people, practice how actually to cultivate mindfulness and everything, and that's what it is. You want to know about mindfulness? Anything you want to know, history, everything, you can get it here. Or if you already are practicing and if you want to go deeper, you want to get the nuances, then I have covered those also.
How interesting. In fact, today is Children's Day here in India.
I know.
Swati and I, both of us, have traveled miles to meet all of you. I'm not going to reveal where exactly we are right now. But what I find interesting about Swati is she's always curious. She wants to know something about you, which is pretty rare because people, I know her for the longest because of a few common friends, and before knowing her or before meeting her in person, I knew about her as the most stunning girl from Pune or from Ferguson College, the stat scholar, and the girl who flew off to America pretty early, and the boys over here were pretty, disheartened that we lost her.
I didn't know that at that time.
Oh yes, there are stories about.
I wish I knew.
And her mysterious and beautiful eyes. I know her as a very protective friend, very encouraging friend, very inspiring person, fabulous host, a pet lover, family lover, people lover. Swati, I know you as a scholar, as a counselor.
Yeah.
And
a psychology person, yeah.
So, and now you are a writer as well. So,
yeah.
Who are you exactly?
That's wow. I'm still looking for who I am. In fact, even in Buddha's teaching, there is something called emptiness of the self, like shunyata, which means that self is always changing, and I'm an example of that. I think it's partly because of having ADD, like ADD is this attention deficit disorder, you are like always. So I have done so many different things in life. But let me tell you, since the time I started my mindfulness journey, 2004, that's one thing I have never left. Mm-hmm. And since that time, I've always been in my psychology practice. I was teaching mindfulness. I was using it with my clients. And then I started doing groups and teaching. And then I had an app, the computer part. And then finally, this book I wrote. But you haven't asked me one question, Sonali. What is mindfulness?
No, I want to ask because your handle is to meditate.
Yes.
And you are talking about mindfulness.
How is it related?
How exactly? I mean, how nicely you put it, because I would have asked how to differentiate both.
Yeah.
But
no, that's great, because people think about, sometimes they think about mindfulness means meditations, but that's not true. I'll tell you what mindfulness is about. Meditation is only one way to become mindful, one way to cultivate mindfulness, but there are other activities you can do to get the habit of mindfulness. I'll tell you what is mindfulness. So, mindfulness, just like the word suggests, is awareness, but it's a special type of awareness. You learn to observe the current moment, what's going on with me, with my breath, my body, my feelings, my thoughts, and all that, whatever is going on with me, with curiosity. But with you, withhold judgments. You don't judge it. Oh, it shouldn't be like that. I shouldn't be doing it, or anything like that. You withhold judgments. You simply observe. You simply observe. You learn to kind of a little bit detach yourself and observing yourself. But of course, that sounds like, okay, just you're watching everything objectively. But it's not just being objective. What you're watching is you're learning about yourself, your thoughts, your feelings, your body sensations, and all these things. It increases your self-awareness. And you know what actually it tells you is, whenever something is happening, our brain is constantly making stories. Like, when you get angry with somebody, you hate them, you think about all kinds of things about them, or you may think that the reason I don't like them is because they are this and this, or they said this to me, that means they hate me, or whatever. Your brain is always making stories. But you are learning all the stories that your brain is making, and what's true and what's not true. You are always learning what is the truth about yourself.
When you say, Swati, that you have to be aware in a particular way and understand the stories your mind is making,
Yeah.
I just want to simplify this. When
Yeah.
I want to approach mindfulness, do I have to go somewhere? Will I get it only when I come to your counseling?
Yeah.
Sessions, or
Yeah.
your room,
Yeah.
or a particular place?
Yeah,
Do I
yeah.
have to sit in a particular manner? When will I
Yeah.
understand mindfulness? And
Yeah, you are asking me really good questions. And we didn't rehearse this or anything.
we didn't actually. We were wondering how to go about it.
You were doing your shooting. You're here in this place to do your shooting, and you ran from there to here, which I really, truly appreciate.
Pleasure is mine.
So I'll tell you, I've actually answered these questions in the book too.
Sure.
But the way to learn mindfulness is, there are two things you can do. You can sit and meditate. That means you basically will go to a quiet place and you will focus only on what you have decided to focus for as long as you have decided. So there is that mindfulness meditation part. Then there are these activities you can do, and you and I will do an activity together to actually tell people what it means. Do you need to go to like a retreat place? Do you have to like go and be in a Buddhist retreat or mindfulness retreat for 10 days or 3 days? That only will make it fast, your development, but it doesn't have to be that way.
Okay.
You don't need any of that. Do you need a live teacher? Yes, it is always helpful. But I really think you need a book like this even when you have a live teacher, because you need to remember things and you need to go and refer back. Sometimes you can go and do it online, computers. But I mean, some apps and all that. But that is not enough. You need a live teacher, even if it is, like just videos of a teacher who you can ask questions, and you need a book like that. That would be the best. The place and all that depends. If you want to meditate, yes, you need a quiet place. If you're just doing an activity, can we do an activity together?
Game.
If we had a cup of tea right now, which we don't, if we had a cup of tea, we would do the tea drinking mindfully.
Oh.
You're an actor. Do you want to just act it out? Okay, we don't have a cup, but imagine.
I have water. I can imagine a cup.
Yeah, okay, yeah, or you can imagine a cup.
Done.
Okay, so let's say you in the morning, you are drinking your tea, coffee, water, whatever it is. What do we generally do? Listen to the news, read newspaper, talk to somebody. I a lot of times have my WhatsApp or social media in front of me. But you take at least 2 minutes, a few minutes out, just focus only on that one activity and my experience of this activity. What is an experience? We have 5 senses. So, okay, so start. So, First, hold the cup and experience the touch. That is sense number one.
Hmm.
Look at it. It will be having some kind of a light playing and that kind of stuff. So you are
Yeah.
looking at that tea.
Hmm.
Smell it. That's sense number three. Hear it if there is any sound.
Hmm.
Maybe yes, maybe not. And then the final really good thing is to taste it, but do it slowly. And you can imagine it. You can imagine doing it very slowly and actually tasting it on your tongue and paying attention to it. Complete focus. And as you're doing it, tell me what's coming in your mind. You're doing these five senses, physical senses, what's coming in your mind?
I can feel a beautiful tune already.
You're hearing it.
I'm
Yeah.
hearing it.
Yeah.
I can hear birds chirping.
Wow.
I remember. I miss my mom because
Aw.
she would have loved this chai.
Kids, are you missing me? In case my kids are watching, I don't know. But
And I am remembering my husband because I'll share that
husband
with you.
too. Yeah.
And a sense of completion. That,
Okay, so that's what all these things that are coming to you, right? So you just notice it.
Hmm.
And if it is something enjoyable, you of course you enjoy it. But maybe the tea is not as hot as you want.
Hmm.
And what's coming to your mind? Maybe I should go and heat it up in the microwave right now. But let's say, even if you think about whatever you're thinking, you're just observing it. You are not reacting right away. You're not going to the microwave. You're not calling your husband just because you missed him, or mom,
True.
whatever. So you don't do anything. You just learn to observe it. It's called non-reactivity.
Nice.
No reaction in the moment. And you know why you do it? If you do it, first of all, I'm going to ask everybody in the morning, spend just 2 minutes doing this. This is an example of taking a pause, paying attention to your experience without judgments and without reactions. And watch whatever is coming up in your mind. That tells us something about you, right? You thought about your family. You're a family oriented person. Must be.
I am.
I
Yeah,
know
keep
that
the chai
about you.
down.
Yeah. No, hold it. See, I need to keep it down. No, you have decided to hold it, so keep doing it. All right. So that is, you're being mindful of, you're doing mindful tea drinking. So doing it like this is actually telling your brain how to not get sucked into whatever your mind is telling you to do, but to focus on whatever it is in your hand at that particular time. You can imagine how useful it would be in the life. We are reacting all the time.
Absolutely.
I mean, we are not planning things. Yeah, you can put it down. You can put it down. Yeah, should we put a lid on it?
No, but you're so right. I remember a Japanese ceremony of
Tea drinking.
tea drinking,
Yeah.
or watching the sake, or
Yeah.
watching sitting down and watching flowers.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
the season.
Yeah.
So it is so interesting, and I don't remember me being so relaxed
Yeah.
unless and until I'm in a traffic jam, and that is something where you are compelled to sit down and you are still not very happy about the situation.
Exactly.
So I can relate with what you are telling me in a different sense.
Yeah.
You all know I'm an actor, and I was just telling my director today
Yeah.
that he's such a good director because he was telling us a scene. And for actors, we know how to learn our lines. And I know how to emote that this is a very happy scene.
Yeah.
This is a scene where I suddenly get angry with my boyfriend or something like that. So I know how to get angry. I know how to walk off.
Yeah.
But the director tells you that this particular line surprises you. When your boyfriend touches your hand, you react to it.
Mm.
So in a way, the director is there for the mindfulness.
It's telling, yeah, but you know what? No, you are right. So look, your reaction may be anger, right?
Hmm.
So if you were mindful, if you were trained into mindfulness, what you would do is, what do you generally do, Sonali? When you get angry, what do you do? When I get angry, I kind of, go into like, I give a tirade to the person. What do you do? Like, you
My
say-
volume increases first
Yeah,
of all, which
yeah.
is annoying.
Yeah,
Everybody has told me, but my
Yeah.
volume increases and I repeat my point.
yeah, right.
So I throw at least 10 lines.
Okay, at that person. Yeah, a lot of people do that, and some people they just fall quiet. Their eyes actually freeze. They just don't want to express it. So that's whatever our automatic reaction is. But is it always effective? Like, let's say, I mean, I may be who the one person who pushes my button is my husband. I hope he's not. But anyway, Bhagwan, yeah. But you know what used to happen? That I would just react and I would try to teach him how to communicate better, I statements and all that, because I am a psychologist person. But I realized that wasn't working. And then what is effective? What is skillful? For that, you need to be mindful that anger is coming up. I'm able to notice my anger, and I'm able to, like, think about what is more skillful. What do I really want? And what do I want from that person? And I think about it. So mindfulness gives you the ability, okay, you feel something and you express it, okay? So there is a space in between. Viktor Frankl, who is a Holocaust survivor, is a psychiatrist. He's now no more, but very well known. He has this very well known quote that says, "Between the feeling and you actually acting out on it, there is a space. If you can prolong that space, that's where your freedom lies."
Lovely. How lovely.
And that's what mindfulness allows you to do. It allows you to increase that space so you can think about what is skillful. Of course, anger, skillfulness, that really takes a long time and a lot of effort.
Agreed. But I am so happy to realize
Yeah.
that you had so much to tell your readers,
Yeah.
your followers,
Yeah.
but you also had a publisher who could understand what you were trying to say.
Yes, yes.
Would you like to tell us something
Oh my
about your
God.
writing and
Yeah.
editing journey?
Yeah, so first of all, thank you to my co-author, Subhashini Prasad, who actually was a published writer. And because I wanted to write this book and I was writing it for a long time, but I wanted somebody to help me with the writing part. She's a good writer and she also kind of learned mindfulness along the way, and she wrote the stories in a more dramatic way, and she forced me to like write every day for whatever
Nice.
time and
Nice.
that kind of stuff. So thank you so much, Subhashini. And then Om Book Publishing, because as you know, like finding a publisher for a book these days, you are a published author. I don't think it was that difficult for you. You have been at it and well known for a long time, but I'm very happy that Om Publishers, they saw that mindfulness is the thing in today's frantic world. How do you stay calm under pressure? So that's what. And their editor, Josna, I want to thank her. She was fantastic because she asked me a lot of questions about what I had written. And that kind of made me explain it in a way that anybody can relate to it. And most of the people who have read this book, that's what they have told me, that the stories are very relatable, modern life problems. What do you do? For example, difficult relationships, difficult people. How do you handle that? By using mindfulness. And staying under stress reduction is like a well-known thing. Western scientists have done studies, they have proved it. They have in fact shown that even the brain structure changes. So all that is there. But you want to put it in your life. Life gives us whatever it wants, right?
True.
There is nobody, like Buddha's first noble truth is everybody suffers. And comprehend suffering. In fact, I'm going to ask everybody to do that in the middle of all this. If you close your eyes
Okay.
and think about me as your director right now. But anyway, and you think about the fact that we all have suffering in our life. No matter who you are, there is, sometimes it's big suffering, sometimes it may be just distress, but there is suffering.
Absolutely.
And comprehend it. Pay attention to it. Not just the words, but just take a pause. We all suffer. We all have something we are struggling with from time to time. And how is it to get in touch with that? How is it to comprehend that? Then compassion arises. Because compassion is empathy and a true wish that the suffering be reduced. My own suffering and other people's.
Absolutely.
Yeah, right.
You suddenly come up with Sarve Sukhina Santu.
Yeah, sir, I know.
No?
Exactly.
I so wish that you were all able to read this book in Swati's handwriting. I have some of her letters and greetings where
Who gave you that? I wrote to you. Yeah.
her handwriting is so beautiful. Swati, in one of your social media quote, you have mentioned personal well-being
Yeah.
and collective well-being.
Yeah.
I'm absolutely curious that how did you feel so compassionate to go beyond an individual
Yeah.
and talk about collective
Well-being.
well-being?
See, when you comprehend that, when you're very mindful, comprehend is mindful, you take a pause, you pay attention to the idea of suffering, not just an idea, you feel it. Then you feel compassion, and compassion is a general wish that the suffering is reduced. Like the Dalai Lama, His Holiness the Dalai Lama says that suffering is reduced. First, you start with people who you love, you want their suffering to be reduced, but then you think about the entire world. I mean, I was not, people who know me, I wasn't exactly a feeling compassionate type of a person. I was a computer management, that type of person. Then I went into psychology. Even that, I was doing it cerebrally until I went into mindfulness, and compassion is part of mindfulness. That compassion changed me. And that put me in touch with feelings. And that also means you start realizing the collective well-being is everybody, and you need the whole community in order to survive even.
Absolutely.
And when other people, like when I think about somebody I really don't like, I'm not going to take names of certain politicians. I'm from the US, so anyway, I don't want to say who it is, but and there are so many other people you must know in your own environment. But when you think about the fact that, okay, they too are suffering, they too are struggling, and maybe if I send them really good wishes, it can be selfish. If I send them good wishes, if they become happy, maybe they will not make other people suffer as much. So the collective well-being is very important.
Back again with you because we really, really want to connect with you and talk about get mindfulness right. Swati, you were telling us
about non-attachment. So when people think about non-attachment, they say, yeah, but attachment is so good. You have a daughter, right? You're very attached to her.
Yes.
Right? And me too. And attachment is, yeah, that's great. But there is something that it's not just wanting something, it is clinging on to it. For example, if you're attached to a child, that's wonderful. But sometimes that makes us impose our dreams and what we think is right. Yeah, of course you want to give values to your child, but when you start imposing your dreams on it, they actually may not flourish in the right direction. But when they're young, at least, okay, you want to teach them something. But let's say they grow up. I have grown up children. There is a way to actually start non-attaching yourself from them. Otherwise, I've seen so many people, so many parents, they are very unhappy because they want their grown-up child to have a certain lifestyle.
Yeah.
And then they start imposing. Or they start talking about this is what you should do. And they feel like they have to do that.
It is their right and
it is their right
not to do that.
And we know what is good for you. Yeah. But then, you have to realize that, first of all, that is putting pressure on them. Their life is different. My life is different. They are born in different times and all these kinds of things. That's non-attachment. Example of non-attachment.
Do you get clients who are parents?
Yes.
I mean, I'm very curious about it because I'm a parent myself.
Yes.
Because, when you talk about counseling or therapy, people think that only relationship issues are discussed there.
Yeah. No,
But there are a variety of other
no,
issues.
in fact, women who right, parenting is one thing. Parenting older kids is difficult these days. Kids are not under your wings the way they used to be. There is a lot of non-attachment that needs to be practiced. Also, for women, women who, when kids fly out of the house, emptiness, but sometimes not just emptiness, Sonali, sometimes, their career, they have put it on the side for some time and their confidence is not there. So you need to treat yourself with compassion. And mindfulness and compassion go together, as I said. And also, how do you feel the confidence? How do you get back into finding meaning and purpose into what you do? These kinds of things, yes. So I do work with women in that capacity also.
Lovely.
Yeah.
I want to know whether you are planning to translate the book in
Other languages.
I would love to welcome the book in Marathi. First of all,
yes.
it is my mother tongue.
Yeah.
You can speak Marathi.
Yeah.
I'm sure that people in Telangana, they are also going to claim their right to have Telugu
Because now I
translation.
live in Hyderabad, yeah.
And Hindi and
Yes,
variety
yes.
of other languages.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I will think about it. But before that, right now it is in English. It is available on Amazon. As Kindle, it's available all over the world. Because Om Publishing is an Indian publisher, the physical copy you can buy only in India. Other places you can buy Kindle. But if you want a physical copy, I would suggest write to me and give me your address and I will send you at cost, whatever
Sure,
it takes to
post it.
post it. So go on my website, tomeditate.com.
Okay.
Just number 2.
So
meditate.
once the chat is over and when you see the comments,
Yeah.
maybe you will be able to give us a link where we could write to
Yeah,
you.
so somebody who is from my social media,
Certainly.
person, they can actually put tomeditate.com and in that contact me. There is a contact form and give me your email and then I will ask you where you want the book to be sent and give you a physical copy.
Super happy to know that the book is already available on Amazon
Yes.
and you already have a Kindle version.
Yes. All that is already there.
And may I ask, what is the book priced at?
Okay, so in USD, it's different, and in
Rupees,
INR, it is different. Yeah, in INR, it is I think 399 or something,
Lovely.
and in USD, it is I think 899. I think they have it, 899. But on Amazon right now, there is a special discount going on. So go on Amazon, order it right now. Just search "Get Mindfulness Right."
It's hardly.
It's like 284 rupees or something on Amazon right now.
If you go to any restaurant for a coffee, so let's buy one extra copy
Instead of coffee.
Exactly. One extra coffee of mindfulness. Swati, are you going to continue meeting your clients in person or you will just tell them that read my book and bye-bye?
No, actually I also teach. I have a Sunday evening Sangha, which is right now like about 20 people from all over the world. But when they know about mindfulness and they want to continue their practice, they can join my group. It is donation based.
Okay.
But I also teach classes and I work with people one-on-one as a psychotherapist. I've restarted it. I had stopped in the middle because of all the teaching, but I've restarted it. Those who want to go deeper and want to do deep work, and another topic that I really like you said, relationships, including parent-children relationships, not just spousal relationships, not just boyfriend-girlfriend, or how to break a fight, how to stay together too, and that also, especially with grown-up kids, I see a lot of confusion these days. Your child is still in school, so you don't know yet, but maybe your parents may have experienced, I don't know, but they have never complained about you, somebody?
Oh, they till date they do. This evening my dad called me, why the TV is not working? And I said, yes, I take the onus. I'm in a different city, but I shall call the technician. And I also wanted to prove, so the tussle always is, if you enjoy that, then you want to bond more. If you You are always in a mode of complaining. Well, you know it better. I'm so tempted to continue this chat
Yeah.
forever. Invite you all over a coffee and our coffee.
Yeah.
But we have to stop. And I welcome you all to connect with Swati. Write to her. Let's
Go
be
to
in touch.
meditate.com and contact me. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Or you can also write to me on email.
Exactly.
It's kind of a little complicated though.
But that's okay. We will give you a link in the comments.
Yeah, it's
and
it's to meditate together at gmail.com. My person hopefully will write it in the chat. Yeah, to meditate together.
So we thank you and I bless you with lots of travel, lots of
Yes.
mindful moments.
There
Lots
is
of
one
friends.
other. Thank you. I want to thank you, Sonali. You have made time for me, and that is so special to me. I can't express it in words. And also another person, Om Publishing, but also the book agent. You are a published author. You know that book agents are so important. They are the ones who connect you.
Yeah, very
And Book Bakers, that is the agency. And Suhail, thank you so much. So I thank all these people who have made it possible.
So here it is, Subhashini, Om Publishers and
Suhail Book Bakers. That's the
Suhail.
yeah. Suhail.
Here it is.
Yeah.
Let's have the last frame
And
with Swati.
Sonali. Yeah. Thank you. And
Thank
this
you
is
so
for
much.
you, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, everybody. And
See you soon.
hope to see you somewhere. Bye.